From Neural Newscast, this is Deep Dive, exploring the moments that shape today.
It is August 10th, and you're listening to Deep Dive from Neural Newscast. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Margaret. We are starting with a day that broke the old world to make way for the new. It was a time of absolute chaos in the heart of Paris. In 1792, the French Revolution hit a point of no return. Revolutionaries, alongside the National Guard, stormed the Tuileries Palace. This was the residence of King Louis XVI, and by the end of the day, the monarchy was effectively dead. The records from this era show this wasn't just a spontaneous mob. There was a long build-up to this specific assault. Margaret, you've spent quite a bit of time with the archives from this period. What was happening behind the scenes leading up to the palace breach? Tension had been mounting for months between the Legislative Assembly and the Crown. When the palace was breached, it wasn't just a physical takeover. It was a systemic collapse. The king was forced to seek refuge with the Legislative Assembly, but they arrested him shortly after. It marked the transition from a constitutional monarchy to a republic, though a very bloody one. It is a stark reminder of how quickly established institutions can fall when the disconnect between the leadership and the people becomes an unbridgeable chasm. It really set the stage for the reign of terror that followed. History calls this the Second Revolution. The first, in 1789, was about reform, but August 10th was about replacement. While we are on the subject of leaders and their legacies, today also marks the birthday of a man who dealt with a very different kind of systemic crisis. You're talking about Herbert Hoover, born in 1874. He's such a fascinating figure, Margaret, because before he was the 31st president, he was actually known as the Great Humanitarian. He did incredible work with food systems and agricultural relief during and after World War I. It is a classic case of operational drift in a public legacy. Hoover had a brilliant mind for logistics and organization, which served him well in humanitarian efforts. But when the Great Depression hit during his presidency, those same rigid, systemic approaches didn't translate into the kind of relief the American people needed at the time.
It is a tough legacy. From the highs of saving millions from starvation in Europe to the lows of the Hoovervilles. Moving forward in time, we also have the birthday of Suzanne Collins, born in 1962. She writes about those exact kinds of systemic failures. As the author of The Hunger Games, Collins explored themes of surveillance, resource inequality, and the way authority uses spectacle to maintain control. It is interesting how her work resonates with the historical cycles we see in the French Revolution, particularly that struggle between the capital and the districts. On a much lighter note, we have a third birthday to celebrate today, the legendary Antonio Banderas, born in 1960. He has been such a cultural force, from his early days with Pedro Almodovar to becoming a global icon in The Mask of Zorro. Banderas has a remarkable range. Whether he is doing intense dramatic work or voicing Puss in Boots, he has maintained a level of charisma that bridges different eras of filmmaking. It is quite a spread of personalities for one day: a president, a dystopian novelist, and a cinematic swashbuckler. It really is. But Margaret, before we go, we have to talk about something that happened much higher up. Our fact of the day takes us all the way to the International Space Station. This is one of my favorite modern firsts. In 2003, Russian cosmonaut Yuri Malenchenko became the first person to get married while in space. He was on the ISS, and his bride, Ekaterina Dmitrieva, was on the ground in Texas.
They performed the ceremony via satellite link. It is such a human moment in a high-tech environment. Even while orbiting the Earth at 17,000 miles per hour, they found a way to maintain that personal connection. It shows that no matter how much our technology changes, the human impulse for ceremony remains the same. It is a perfect example of how we adapt our traditions to new frontiers. From the storming of palaces to weddings in orbit, August 10th shows us the full spectrum of the human experience. I'm Margaret.
And I'm Hannah. You can find more stories at deepdive.neuralnewscast.com. Deep Dive is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. Explore history every day on Neural Newscast.
This has been Deep Dive on Neural Newscast, exploring the moments that shape today.